You won't believe what's happening behind the scenes of one of the biggest empires in music. A former assistant to Shawn Diddy Combs has just spilled details in a bombshell interview. And trust me, what you're about to hear will shatter everything you thought you knew about Diddy and his family. Wild parties, drug use, and a web of allegations that might bring down the Combs dynasty. This isn't just scandalous, it's beyond anything we've ever heard before. Shawn Diddy Combs, the name synonymous with success, luxury, and dominance in hip-hop, has always seemed untouchable. But behind the glitz of Grammy wins and multi-million-dollar businesses, there lies a dark, twisted side. And at the center of it all is not just Diddy himself, but someone far closer to home, his mother, Janice Combs. Now, an active federal investigation has uncovered some chilling truths. What do we know about this infamous family? And how deep does the corruption go? Stay tuned, because the shocking details you're about to hear will change the way you look at the Combs empire forever. Diddy's rise and alleged dark secrets. Shawn Diddy Combs didn't just build an empire, he became a symbol of success, power, and endless ambition. From his early days as a talent scout at Uptown Records to founding Bad Boy Entertainment, Diddy has always been in the spotlight. He's won Grammys, made billions, and shaped the culture of hip-hop. But behind all the luxury and the good life persona, there's a side to Diddy's story that most people don't see, and it's far darker than anyone could have imagined. For years, Diddy has projected an image of the ultimate mogul, someone who rose from humble beginnings to achieve greatness, all while building a dynasty that millions look up to. But as more details emerge, it's becoming clear that the foundations of his empire may not be as solid as they seem. Allegations are starting to surface about a world of manipulation, exploitation, and even violent tactics used to protect and expand his empire. And the most shocking part? These claims aren't just about Diddy himself. They point to the woman who's always been at the center of his life, his mother, Janice Combs. Janice, once celebrated as the heart and soul behind Diddy's success, has now become a focal point of a federal investigation. How could the woman who once helped build this empire now be at the center of some of the most explosive allegations ever tied to a celebrity family? The answer is far more chilling than anyone could have guessed. Kirk Burroughs' allegations. When it comes to the rise of Bad Boy Entertainment, one name that's been left in the shadows is Kirk Burrough. Burrough, once a co-founder of the label, played a key role in helping Diddy build his empire in the 90s. But in 1996, everything changed when Diddy allegedly stormed into his office armed with a baseball bat, forcing Burrough to sign over his 25% stake in the company. The confrontation was reportedly violent, with Burrough claiming he was intimidated into giving up his shares under the threat of physical harm. While Diddy was the one who allegedly took the bat to Burroughs' office, it wasn't just the music mogul behind the scenes. Burroughs' claims suggest that Janice Combs, Diddy's mother, was the mastermind orchestrating the entire scheme from the shadows. Burrough alleges that it was Janice who ultimately received the transferred shares from him, making her a key player in this covert move that would change the course of his life. Now, years later, Burrough is speaking out, sharing his story of betrayal and manipulation. Once a key player in one of the most influential labels in hip-hop, Burroughs' life was forever altered by the ruthless moves behind the scenes. And the most heartbreaking part? He's now homeless, living in shelters, fighting for justice decades after the supposed takeover. What we're left with is a chilling image of power, control, and exploitation, one that goes far beyond Diddy's personal actions. This wasn't just a violent takeover. It's an example of how far the Combs family was allegedly willing to go to maintain their empire. And what's worse, the manipulation didn't stop there. The infamous freak-off parties. Now let's get into one of the most disturbing aspects of this entire scandal, the so-called freak-off parties. These aren't just wild rumors or whispers from Hollywood circles. They've been described by multiple witnesses as events filled with coercion, exploitation, and depravity. What was once believed to be the glamorous side of celebrity culture is now being revealed as a nightmarish underworld of control and manipulation. Courtney Burgess, a key witness in the ongoing federal investigation, has come forward with some chilling details. She claims that footage exists of these gatherings, footage so disturbing it allegedly implicates not just Diddy, but several high-profile celebrities. And what's even shocking? Some of the individuals involved may have been minors at the time. Can you imagine? These weren't just parties. They were orchestrated events where people were allegedly lured under false pretenses and trapped in situations from which they couldn't escape. Witnesses have described the parties as being filled with young women, as young as 20, who were allegedly coerced into participating in the most explicit and degrading activities. The disturbing part? These weren't isolated incidents. Multiple individuals have testified that Janice Combs played a direct role in these parties, introducing her son to these behaviors at a young age and setting the stage for the chaos that would follow. In the midst of it all, the Combs family's legacy, which had once been hailed as a symbol of success, is now under fire. The very foundations of Diddy's empire are being questioned, and what was once seen as untouchable is now beginning to crumble. This isn't just about a few wild nights. This is about an entire network of abuse, control, and secrecy that could take down not only Diddy, but some of the biggest names in Hollywood. Diddy's legal troubles and Janice's defense. As the allegations continue to pile up, Diddy's legal troubles are escalating at an alarming rate. In the aftermath of the Cassie Ventura lawsuit, more and more accusers are stepping forward, each with their own shocking stories of manipulation, abuse, and coercion. And yet, despite the mounting evidence, one person has consistently stood by his side, his mother, Janice Combs. In the wake of Diddy's arrest in September 2024, Janice issued an emotional defense, calling the allegations against her son a public lynching, and vehemently insisting that Diddy is not the monster the world is making him out to be. But here's the catch. Are these statements from Janice genuine? Or is this just another piece of the puzzle in an elaborate PR strategy to protect the Combs family empire? At first glance, Janice's unwavering support of her son might seem like the actions of a desperate mother trying to shield her child from the mounting legal and public pressure. However, considering the darker aspects of this case and Janice's alleged involvement in some of the most sinister events surrounding Diddy's rise, it raises the question, is there more to her defense than meets the eye? Could it be that Janice is not just trying to protect her son, but also trying to salvage the very legacy she helped build? The cracks in the once perfect facade of the Combs family are beginning to show, and the real question is whether these defenses are just part of a larger strategy to keep the empire intact, or the sincere actions of a mother desperate to save her son. The public narrative may be turning, but it's unclear just how much Janice's defense will hold up as the legal and criminal investigations continue to unfold. One thing is certain, the battle for the Combs family's future is far from over. Federal investigation and evidence. As the investigation into Diddy and his family deepens, federal authorities have begun to uncover a staggering amount of evidence that could change everything. The charges against Diddy and his mother Janice are not just limited to public scandals. These are criminal allegations that could destroy the Combs family's empire. Racketeering, trafficking, and other serious charges are now on the table, and the FBI is pulling no punches. Among the most damning pieces of evidence are the financial records and the witness testimonies that point to a coordinated operation, one that involves much more than just Diddy's celebrity lifestyle. Prosecutors are revealing details of how millions of dollars may have been funneled into shell companies and offshore accounts, part of what they describe as a sophisticated effort to hide the truth and silence the victims. And then there are the flash drives. These aren't just any regular drives, they reportedly contain footage that could be the final nail in the coffin for the Combs family. According to several sources, these drives include shocking videos from the infamous parties and could implicate not just Diddy, but several high-profile celebrities who were allegedly involved. The footage, if authenticated, could become a key part of the prosecution's case, showing the horrifying reality behind closed doors. The most chilling part of this investigation is the pattern it reveals: a long history of manipulation, deceit, and the calculated use of power to keep everything under wraps. It's becoming clear that the empire Diddy built wasn't just constructed on music and business, it was built on a foundation of secrecy and control. Now, as the federal agents close in, the family's once pristine image is beginning to crack, and the truth is slowly starting to surface. The question now is whether this shocking evidence will be enough to bring justice and finally hold the Combs family accountable for the dark side of their empire. Cassie's testimony and growing allegations. One of the most significant moments in this case came when Cassie Ventura, Diddy's former girlfriend, took the stand to share her harrowing experience. Her testimony has sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, painting a devastating picture of control, manipulation, and abuse that lasted for years. What Cassie revealed isn't just about a bad relationship. It's about a pattern of behavior that went far beyond her personal experience. Cassie described in chilling detail how Diddy used his wealth and influence to manipulate her, constantly monitoring her every move. She testified that security guards would report her whereabouts directly to Diddy, and she felt as though she was never truly free. The most shocking part, Cassie claims that any attempt to distance herself from Diddy's control was met with psychological and physical intimidation. This wasn't just a controlling relationship, it was a relentless effort to strip her of her autonomy. But Cassie's courage to speak out has done something even more powerful. It's inspired a wave of other women to come forward. As of now, more than 100 individuals have shared their stories, revealing a disturbing pattern of exploitation and abuse at the hands of Diddy and his associates. Many of these women were lured to Diddy's parties with promises of career opportunities, only to find themselves trapped in situations from which they couldn't escape. Cassie's testimony isn't just about what happened to her. It's about exposing a much larger systemic problem. It's about holding powerful individuals accountable for the years of abuse and manipulation that they've managed to keep hidden. The floodgates have opened, and with each new testimony, the case against Diddy grows stronger. But as we'll see, this isn't just about what happened in the past. It's about uncovering the full extent of the operation that Diddy allegedly ran. Witness accounts and Hollywood's dark secrets. As the investigation continues to unfold, more and more witnesses are stepping forward with chilling accounts of what they witnessed within Diddy's inner circle. These aren't just anonymous sources. They're former employees, bodyguards, and associates who have all begun to expose the truth behind Diddy's infamous freak-off parties. What they're revealing is nothing short of terrifying, painting a picture of a well-orchestrated operation designed to trap individuals in a web of control, fear, and exploitation. According to several anonymous sources, Diddy's influence extended far beyond the music industry. Former employees have come forward with disturbing details about the role they played in facilitating these secretive gatherings. Some have admitted to coordinating travel for the attendees, providing substances, and even ensuring that certain individuals were kept isolated from the public eye. Many of them expressed regret for their involvement, but most claim they were too afraid to speak out at the time, fearing retaliation from the man who held their careers in the palm of his hand. But perhaps the most chilling accounts are those describing the sheer scope of the control Diddy wielded over his victims. Witnesses claim that people were often coerced into staying at these events, with their personal belongings, phones, wallets confiscated to ensure they couldn't leave or document what was happening. The prosecution alleges that this wasn't just a series of isolated incidents, but rather part of a calculated operation designed to isolate and dominate the individuals involved. What makes these accounts even more disturbing is the growing number of testimonies from individuals who describe being manipulated into staying silent. It's becoming increasingly clear that Diddy's empire wasn't just built on music or business. It was built on a complex system of power, fear, and control. These disturbing revelations not only shed light on Diddy's behavior, but they also force us to confront the larger issue of how far powerful figures in Hollywood are willing to go to protect their secrets.
The scale of the allegations. The scope of the allegations against Diddy is almost impossible to fully comprehend. What initially started as whispers within the entertainment industry has now become an avalanche of claims, each more disturbing than the last. And with each new accusation, the case against him grows more complex and damning. As of now, more than 120 individuals have either filed lawsuits or are preparing to do so. These victims describe eerily similar patterns of abuse, manipulation, and exploitation, suggesting a calculated effort to control and coerce those involved in Diddy's world. What's perhaps most troubling is the extent to which this system of abuse appears to have been premeditated. Many of the victims claim they were flown across state lines, often under the guise of career opportunities or personal connections, only to find themselves trapped in situations from which they couldn't escape. The prosecution has described this operation as a well-oiled machine, one that relied on Diddy's wealth and power to silence victims and keep the truth buried. Financial records, witness testimonies, and even leaked communications all point to a coordinated effort to intimidate and control people. What these new revelations suggest is that this wasn't a case of a few bad decisions. It was an elaborate scheme designed to exploit vulnerable individuals for years. The implications are staggering. These weren't isolated incidents. These weren't just a few wild parties. This was a system of exploitation that affected dozens of women, and potentially more. The legal fallout from these cases could reshape the entertainment industry and force a reckoning with the very structures that allowed such behavior to go unchecked for so long. And what about the broader cultural impact? If these allegations are proven true, they'll expose not only Diddy, but an entire network of powerful figures who may have enabled or ignored this behavior. This case has the potential to bring down more than just one celebrity. It could be the beginning of a larger shift in the way the entertainment industry deals with power, abuse, and accountability.
The fall of an empire. As the trial of Shawn Diddy Combs looms on the horizon, the stakes couldn't be higher. The once untouchable mogul, a symbol of success and power, now finds himself at the center of one of the most disturbing scandals in entertainment history. From the shocking allegations of violent takeovers to the terrifying accounts of coercion and manipulation at his infamous parties, the empire he built is beginning to crumble. The truth, long hidden behind a facade of wealth and influence, is now starting to surface. And with each new revelation, each new witness coming forward, the Combs family's carefully constructed image is fading away. What was once a story of a rags-to-riches mogul rising above his circumstances is now being overshadowed by dark tales of exploitation and abuse. The legal battle ahead could reshape the entire entertainment industry. If the evidence continues to mount against Diddy and his family, this trial has the potential to serve as a wake-up call for an industry that has long overlooked the darker side of fame and power. It's a reminder that behind every glamorous image lies a human cost, one that is too often hidden in the shadows. But the real question remains, is this the beginning of the end for the Combs dynasty? Or, as history has shown, will Diddy find a way to rise from the ashes of this scandal and rebuild his empire? For now, it's impossible to say. What is certain, though, is that the world is watching, and the truth is slowly coming to light. What do you think? Will justice finally be served, or does Diddy's empire still have the power to escape accountability? Let us know in the comments below.